for too much? Yeah. Is it time people begin to ask that question? Is it time to begin to say, at what point are we going to have a compromise between government and Ogonis? You all know we had the Ken Saro-Wiwa Day just a few days ago. You can say activities to mark that day still ongoing by some. However, you can't take away the demands that came out. Some of them are demands that have been there before. Others are quite new. I'll point out one. Exoneration of Ken Saro-Wiwa and the Ogoni 9. We've had pardons. We've had national honors. We've had, they did the Ogoni 4, the Ogoni 9. What about the Ogoni 4? And so on. Okay, the government had come and you've seen all of this happen. But then it seems as though the more there are conversations to meet the demands and the more some of the demands are met, the more new ones are adding. The more other ones are coming out. The more people are beginning to cry out for theirs. Oh, you have to give us. Will this ever come to an end? That's the question. Are we going to see an end to this? Is there going to be a time where, okay, we have a conversation, there's a compromise, and that's the end of it, everybody moves on? Big question. If you look at the full implementation of the Ogoni right of bills, it's still one of the things that was mentioned again upon the celebration of the Ken Saro-Wiwa Day. Beyond that, also was the Environmental Remediation and Accountability UNEP report implementation. Total exoneration of the Ogoni 9 is now a new part of it. MASOP have continued to reject the pardon among several other Ogoni's groups. Pardon that was given to Ken Saro-Wiwa, the 8 others who were executed. The argument is that a pardon suggests guilt, so what we want now is exoneration. That would confirm their innocence completely. Then there is the retrieval and burial of the Ogoni 4, their remains. This is over 30 years or more, if my calculations are right. Over 30 years and more. So this one is from the Gokana Unity Forum and some other Ogoni indigenes are now saying the retrieval of the remains of the Ogoni the 4 Ogoni chiefs who were killed in 94, which led to the trial and execution of the Ogoni 9. So they're asking that they recover the remains and the remains be given to them to have a dignified burial. Very essential, they say, for peace and reconciliation in the land. I already talked about the Bill of Rights. But the major question and the reason for this conversation is, at what point do we say, okay, we are done? At what point do we get to, this is it, we are done, everybody? Because it feels like we are getting more and more. That's how it feels like, at least. More and more demands. While we're struggling to ensure that the old ones are properly implemented, we're getting more. There's also the problem of sabotage. Reports, alleged reports of sabotage, even within the Ogonis, as it concerns implementation of some of these UNEP reports, parts of the UNEP report. There are reports of political sabotage as against even appointments. Because if you look at some of the demands, there is a talk about leaders calling for an end to political marginalization. Meanwhile, there are alleged reports of sabotage politically in amongst. So how do we, if any of those reports are anything we would go by, if they are really happening, then are we ever going to see an end to all of these demands that need to be met before anything can happen in Ogoni? That's a fundamental question. And I think it's high time we begin to have these questions, because it's a realistic thing in front of us. Right now, yes, the Ogonis were dealt unfairly. There were a lot of things that happened. So has been, the argument would be the same thing might have happened to many other parts of the Niger Delta. Many other people from parts of the Niger Delta. That's the argument generally. And some people even go further to say, if everybody say, okay, everybody must be compensated and every demand that everybody is making from every other part of the Niger Delta is met, we might as well shut all the oil wells in the country, in this region, shut it down, because everybody has, environments are being destroyed every single day in Bayelsa, in Rivers, in many other parts of Rivers State, in many parts of Delta State, and so on and so forth. But for whatever reason, and because of the impact Ken Saro-Wiwa had, a lot of the Niger Delta in general understand, right? And I think it's what brings about the solidarity you're getting from other parts of the Niger Delta to say it's one of our own. Let the right thing be done. However, at what point do we then say this thing is becoming too much, or we too have to make a compromise? Do we ever get to that point? And at what point do the alleged, I like to say alleged because the argument would be, well, there's no concrete proof of it, but then this is alleged reports of disunity among the Ogonis, what's the word for it now? Sabotage, and whether it's political, some even towards development because of political reasons. When does that? Who addresses that? Who brings that to the front and looks at it to address it? These are critical questions, and I would like to hear from you what your thoughts are, especially with the new, some of the new, the news about. We don't want the pardon, we want exoneration. We want the bodies of the remains of the 4 to be brought back for proper burial. The question would now be, if they were buried then by the military or the government at the time, they have to exhume the remains and send them back home. Those things happen. People asked me the question one time, it's over 30 years. How are we? Yes, you can. You can exhume the remains and bring it, and then they bury them in their homeland. But the major thing is, how are we sure that if these ones are added and eventually met at some point, we're not going to get new ones, new demands that will then come up again? At what point do we say, okay, it's okay, let's meet, let's have a compromise, and let us move forward from this so that we can begin to talk about the real development and people can begin to move on and not keep holding on and dragging the past with us? When do we get to that point? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, 0817-923-0007. Again, the numbers are 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, or 0817-923-0007. Call us on any of these numbers this morning and let us hear what you think about the development as well. I'm sure you've heard it across the news. There's also the rejection of oil resumption. Very serious opposition that any attempt to to start oil exploration in the Ogoni land, which relates to context of divesting oil companies. Activists have argued that resuming extraction will be a huge step backward and an insult on Saro-Wiwa's memory and would further endanger communities still suffering from pollution. This was part of the arguments made on Ken Saro-Wiwa Day. I'm just trying to refresh in our minds. I'm sure we heard it in the news, we followed, and the statements are still out there. So, will this end? Emeka Inelele, let's start with you. Good morning.
Yes, Ifiemi, good morning. My dear brother, it is high time Ogoni people should go home and take care of themselves, because federal government has given them so much in this cause of environmental pollution, Ken Saro-Wiwa. It is only Ogoni people that is in River State. We have other states. None of them in my own side, we have almost 40-something oil wells. Are we making noise? We have environmental pollution every time. As the federal government due to Supreme Court ruling in US or what, gave them that the federal government should pay them all their entitlement. And they pay them. They should stop using them. And the worst part of it, there is no development in our company that they are seeing now. They are just sharing the money. You will see different type of pressure group collecting their own. Ifiemi, there is no in one single project that high pep. No, they are just sharing the money. See, they now come up again when they fall. Okay, we will also come up. After all, we have some prominent men in history. Federal government is meant to be honored. Oh, this is not jumping radio every time. Environmentalists, they are the only one that have a. Thank you.
All right, Emeka, I understand your point, but okay, let's go to Abia State first. Henry, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Henry. Go on, please.
To me, they have not been done anything for them yet. For me, there's nothing should even end. The people that are eating our money, they're just doing nothing. They're just sharing the money. All those ministers, all of them, send it for them. So they should give this guy what's due for them. I'm not lying, For me, I'm not from that place, but anything they should give to them. And they're not doing anything for those communities. It's not fair now. Nothing should even end. This is just the beginning. What are they using our money for? The whole oil they're producing that, what are they using it for? Who are they helping? They should keep on doing those things. I'm bored for more of this thing.
All right, Henry. They should continue. He says. So the argument some people have put out is, if every other part of the Niger Delta that also suffered pollution and military activities, invasion, killings, destructions, like just imagine, let's take OD for instance. Imagine other communities in solidarity with OD say, oh, because of what you did in OD, we're not going to allow this or that or that or that until this and that and that and that are done. If other communities in Nembe, in Boma, Southern Ijo, Axis, name it, or you go to Delta State in Ogula, just Bomadi, parts of Patani, name them, right? And in Brutu local government, and also go the same way, this same approach. In fact, is there another approach that can be applied for Ogonis to tackle this issue and at the same time be getting some level of development? Because some people have even said we should begin to look at how much money has been put in to this cleanup exercise and everything in Ogoni. Then don't forget the alleged political sabotage. That's also a problem that we have been talking about. Emeka and Asaba, we have a commercial around the corner. We don't have a lot of time, but quickly, please. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes.
We need total orientation in life. Ogoni and federal government has done nothing. That is just the bottom line. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much, Emeka. Says Ogoni and federal government have done nothing. I think that many would argue. I agree with you to some degree. But if we also look at it, the monies that federal government put, whether it's the NDDC, whether it's the at the time in Delta State, they had the SOPA deck, there are different intervention agencies that have been built. The monies have been coming in. It is our own people that occupy those offices. So technically, we should also be questioning where these monies go to. Hyperep has been, for how long have we been discussing Hyperep situation? If you go to Ogoni, the monies that have entered versus the work on ground, can you equate it? A quick commercial. We'll take more of your calls. Don't worry. After now.
on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, good morning. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Let's quickly get back straight to the phone lines and get your thoughts and reactions to what the conversation had been. We were looking at the recent demands from some Ogoni stakeholders and groups upon the celebration of the Kensarawiwa Day. Quite a lot has been said, and we're asking, at what point do we come to a compromise? At what point do we say, all right, we are done, everything is in order? At what point? However, it looks as though some have been met, more demands have been made. And I highlighted just a few examples there and the reactions that those demands have been getting. First, there was the pardon, and then a lot of people not comfortable with the pardon. We want exoneration, or we want the bodies of the Ogoni for returned. There also talks about political appointments, recognition, even in the military as well. It's quite a handful if you go through them. But should Ogonis begin to consider other ways, and can we begin to also hold to account those people, individuals in Ogoni that are in charge of some of these funds that have been coming in for whether it's the implementation of the UNEP report or the high prep job that's ongoing, the monies that have been put in there, and what we have on ground, does it match? The political sabotage, in quotes, that has been reported allegedly. There's also developmental reports of alleged developmental sabotage because of various groups that do not agree on the same purpose. And so you have all of these people going at each other, and how that is also affecting the development that Ogoni could or have been getting in the past couple of years. Who begins to address that? How come these groups are not addressing these issues too? But most importantly, when do we say, okay, everybody has to come to a compromise? Or is it going to be endless demands upon endless demands as we go? What would that mean for should other Niger Delta communities also begin to look at the template Ogoni is setting and follow suit and say, okay, we too, I think we have certain things. Let's begin to also make our own demands. If not, we shut down these activities. How do we get out of this? How do we move forward? How do we let go of the past? We always say you can't go forward looking back. So how do we then make this happen? It's the critical question. At what point do we say it's becoming too much? At what point do we say, let us focus on the ones on ground and get them sorted out first? Very important. 0817-923-0007. 0817-923-0003 and 0817-923-0002. Again, 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003, and then 0817-923-0007. So there's also the demand for, this was one I found interesting, a direct stake in any future oil company operating in the region, provision of essential amenities and infrastructure, accountability for allegedly misappropriated compensation funds. Who were in charge of these compensation funds? These are some of the questions I'm asking. Who are the people that have been in charge? Also end to marginalization. Leaders are calling that should be an end to political marginalization. No, Ogoni has served as governor or deputy governor of Rivers State before. These things are these things a function? People vote, right? Because when you look at this, it's almost as though we're saying that somebody have to make an Ogoni person a governor. The politics is played. You play it to see that when it comes to your senatorial district, your area is looked at, and a person from there comes out that has proven himself over years to be capable to do this job. So, as much as yes, we are saying the government should meet I think there are internal questions that need to be asked, and we have to be honest to face these internal questions and put it out there as well, the same way we are putting out and facing what the government needs to do and have not done. Harry from Port Harcourt, good morning. We lost the call from Harry. Let's go to mile 3. Magnus, good morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Andrew.
All right, Magnus, go on, please.
Thank you so much. I think the issue at hand is a very critical one that concerned Ogoni voters should be more serious about. Like you rightly mentioned, you cannot remove sabotage from the system. We have had several demands, but which of these demands are necessary? If you ask me, UNEP reports is the paramount of all that Ogoni people should demand, because UNEP reports comprises of everything that the Ogoni people want and need. So when you begin to wake up, you see another demand, different ideas and different interests. Which one should the federal government attend to? Until we begin to put our house together, until we begin to fix things and speak in one voice, I don't think we can make a way forward. The Ogoni people went to Mr. President the other day, and they had discussions with Mr. President. And I said on your radio, the thing they discussed with Mr. President, did they translate it to the people at the local level? Did the communities aware what Mr. President discussed with them? You were in your radio that some Ogoni youth and women were protesting that they cannot touch oil in their community because they have not met with them. So what are the leaders discussing with Mr. President? So until we begin to collect interest and gather them to make it one, I don't see any way forward. Thank you so much, and that is much.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning. This person says, good morning. House rent in Port Harcourt is very high. So what would the common Ogoni person do about it? How? What's your name? David Dumale. Is the cost of the house rent affecting only the Ogoni person? Is anybody living in Rivers State is going through that at the moment? Especially if you are in Port Harcourt or Biakbo. Everybody's going through that. And in Query local government as well. So, especially if you are in these 3 local governments, they are going through it together. So, I don't know. I'm going to respond to that thing that you said. Emeka from Asaba, I think we spoke with you already. I don't know why you're back on the line. We already spoke with you. So, you'd have to wait. We'll take the next caller first, and then we come back to you later. This one says, good evening. No, sorry. That's not for us. One thing all Nigerians should know today is that Shell Company operating and polluted our land for over 40 years, and not even a cup of tea was given to us. Nigerian government has not supported high prep with one couple, so nothing is too much for Ogoni people to ask from them. Clever Sonny. Are you serious when you say that they have not supported high prep with one couple? Are you really serious? You have your facts right. And the pollution, yes, well, nobody's saying that these pollutions do not happen, but the question now is, what other approach can we use to tackle this? First off, can we have everybody come together and have a common ground and agree on a common thing, so that we don't have every Kesawiwa day one new demand from another group, one call. If the pardon was not what Ogonis wanted, then Ogoni should not have gone to accept it in the first place. Accepting it meant there have been conversations before, and then there were agreements. Which brings me back to the question of, we are saying federal government, have we sat down to even begin to question, okay, amongst us as a people, what is the problem? Who is having that conversation? Amongst us as a people, what is the problem? What is the problem? Remember, it wasn't only Ogonis that were involved, that were giving that pardon and national honors. They weren't the only ones. There were other people there. So what is it amongst us that is the problem? Especially when you look at the demand of political marginalization and military presence and all of these. And I'm asking, okay, how? If you even put it and say, those who perhaps have become senators from different communities to represent different senatorial districts, from the Ogoni extraction. How much have they brought back to their people? How much development? How much opportunities have they brought back? How much of the interests of their people have they really intentionally protected or brought to the front? How much of it? So while we are having these conversations and saying the government is, who is looking at the one that is right in front of our face amongst us ourselves? Who disagree? The committee had a meeting with the president. They were saying discussions. Coming back, there's a group that is telling you now that they don't want what those people said, that they did not say this one. Like, it's almost as though like there is no common front, and this is what we collectively want. So why is there that problem? Good news in Port Harcourt. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You know, there's one funny thing. And that funny thing is that the Kensarowe they are all lamenting about. Have you been to Ghana? Have you been to Kensarowe's place? Have you been to... You see that they just use the man to make money, to make connections. If not recently, Chief Tony Okocha, under the reps, went to do one or two things there, and they were hailing him. All the things that were happening, none of them have looked into the family of Ken Sarewa. And this issue of what are we talking about? This issue of freedom. They say total
pardon, exoneration.
Pardon. They actually talked about pardoning him initially. It was the likes of people like this man in the high prep now. What is that his name? Celeste Kobare. That said no, that they didn't do anything. Why pardoning them? That they need total exoneration. He started shouting it. He started shouting. And what was it? Some persons think that they are too fast. They refuse to consult the persons who have the intellect on the issues. Today, they've done what they have done. There's somebody who has intellect and said, no, these people did not do anything. They killed them, convicted and killed them for their own right, that they need total exoneration. Being the reason why you're having exoneration. I think it's the right thing. If the federal did some that issue, I think by now they could have exonerated them. My name is Chris from Port Harcourt.
All right, good news. Thank you very much. The WhatsApp number is 0809030616. Andrew, you can tell the Ogoni's demand for governorship that the position of leadership in this country is now based on turns and not on merit. This is the reason why our politicians are getting it wrong in their leadership. E-beams. That's how the politics is played. And you have to play it if you want to. You have to play it if you want to. But something that was said now by my friend Good News is something that I've just said. The members at the National Assembly, the State Assembly, the other, what have they done at their level for their people or for the family of Kensarewa even? How, like, how? I don't know how to put this. As much as we are pointing at the federal government and we're saying, oh, there is amongst us here, how together are we with regards to this cause? Did we not have meetings with the committees that went to have the meeting with the president, led by the former VC of the University of Port Harcourt, among some other top intellectual people who were part of that committee, including former lawmakers? One of my well-respected, a very respected former lawmaker, Senator Birabi. So, what are we saying that these people did not know what they were going to say there? Is that the assumptions we are trying to make now? Good morning, Nigeria Info. All right, we lost that call. So if you're trying to get to us, and then you have some issues with the phone lines, please pardon us. We're working on that. We're going to get it sorted out. The numbers to call still are 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, and 0817 923 0007. On WhatsApp, it's 0809 030 64 Meanwhile, on Facebook, it is at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. That is the handle on Facebook. You can join us for streaming live. Thank God, Media Barikovi says, let the right thing be done for the Ogonis. What about the true? But what about the Ogonis also doing the right thing for themselves? What about the Ogonis also, at least start with the one in front of you, the people you can see. You can't see the president, but you can see your lawmaker. That's if you can't see him. If you cannot see him, the people in front of you, the leaders that are from the various groups, Kagote and the rest, Masop and the rest of them, those ones, what are they doing? Who is calling them out? Who is asking them that, hey, you guys need to come. We have to get our acts together if we have to get this thing right. How long are we going to go on with? Because at some point, trust me, it's going to be people saying it's becoming too much now. It's going to get there at some point. It will get there if things are not sorted out properly and in time. It will get to the point where when you bring up the issue, people are going to respond to it with some sort of, now lead them day. It's going to get to that point if we do not properly sit down and put things in order. Good morning, Nigeria Info.
Yes,
Please, your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Glow Diamond. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Okay, go on.
I want to talk in respect of this Ogoni, their demand. First of all, they should know what they really want. Because I know that their previous time they tell them money where they shared it to even the smallest Ogoni person collected money. They talk about pardon, they talk about bringing the Sarawiwa body to them. What do they really want? They should specify what they want, and they should be in one mind, in one mouth, in one voice. Not every year they are money Sarawiwa, every year they are money Sarawiwa. The last person that speaks talk about how do they even undo the family of Sarawiwa. The family that even the man comes from, what have they done? I see that they are taking it as selfish interests. They want to have money through this medium. That is just it. They should really specify on what they really want. If not, it's going too much. It's getting too much. It's getting too much.
Thank you. Prince in Port Harcourt, good morning.
Good morning, Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew, I want to go into conversation this morning. Andrew.
Yes.
And you're also supposed to be in Ogoni one of these days and tell what the next report is doing. There's nothing.
I've been there several times.
There's nothing. All these things people are saying, they are all inside everything. They have never done anything that's going to be upright. I thought this sincere to ourselves, and Nigeria is not helping the matter, so Nigeria is not helping. Up the not for us in there. Nothing I've done, nothing. We are suffering though. We the Nigeria that we are suffering most from the federal government of Nigeria. Let us try to look the face of everybody in Nigeria better. Once we are the Ogoni people, we are being marginalized in different ways, different angles all over the world.
All right, Brent. Thank you. He says nothing has been done. I'll see if we could take one more. Like I said, sorry, we have slight issues with the lines. It's the reason why we've not been able to accommodate as much of your calls as we would have loved to. So please bear with us. As at August of 2023, it's on record that High Prep had received a total of $540 million from the Shell-led joint venture and then some other oil majors that were responsible for the pollution. As at 2023, this is 2025. So clearly it's beyond that figure. The question now is, what is on ground in Ogoni? Can you equate it to the money that's been received? It might not be what is required to solve the problem entirely, but what has come so far and what is on ground, can we say that, oh, okay, there is progress? Kelechi from Bonny Island, you're our last caller this morning. Good morning to you.
Okay, you people should collect it. They say that they need
We didn't get that, please.
I said the other time, then give them state. Then say that they want kingdom. When did the kingdom happen in this Nigeria? Too much English disturb Ogoni people today. Much English. Let them stop that English. So everybody know that they go to school. Everybody knows they're in school. Then get everywhere. Let them stop that English. Say what they want. Today they use this English. Tomorrow they use English. Tomorrow another day they use the other English. Clean up. Which anyway they are not doing clean up. This clean up they are doing it in Port Harcourt every day. Every ending of the day on Saturdays. They are doing clean up everywhere. Their own clean up.
Okay, Kelechi.
Let them stop that English and say what they want.
I understand that you're upset, but then the usual cleanup or sanitation exercise is quite different from the cleanup that Ogonis and many parts of the Niger Delta have been calling for. The cleanup for pollution, oil pollution, especially on land, is way more difficult to carry out and takes longer period of time, honestly. Time will not allow me to give you all of the details, but I'll just say that there are two different types of cleanup. However, I get the point and where you are coming from. Maybe people might not understand how you put it. That's why I need to make that clarification. Good morning. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. We'll take a quick commercial now.